All right, practice problem 1. Solving for y. It's a fraction, so we're not going to divide. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which means we flip the fraction over. Everything is getting multiplied by 2. And since it's a fraction, I'm going to write 2 as a fraction, 2 over 1. So I multiply the 1/2 times 2. Don't forget the y. I'm going to multiply the 1/3 times 2. Don't forget the x. And I'm going to multiply the 1 by 2. I don't have to write that as a fraction because 1 is not a fraction, right? You want your numbers to look the same. So 1/2 times 2 just means what's half of 2? It's 1. The 2's cancel each other out. So we're just left with y, which is what we want. Now I have 1/3 times 2. So that's just going to be 2/3. You just multiply going straight across. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. Don't forget your x. And then plus, it's positive. 1 times 2 is 2. So here's the new equation. Now, my slope is 2/3. That means I go up 2 and right 3. And my y-intercept is 2. It's a positive 2. So I'm going to go straight up until I get to positive 2. Here's the first point on this line. Now use the slope directions. Up 2, right 3. Put a point. Do it again. Up 2, right 3. Put a point. Connect it with a long line and add your arrows. That's your first practice problem. Problem number 2. We need to solve for y, so we need to get rid of this 3. This time we are dividing, right? It's not a fraction, so we divide. Everything gets divided by 3. These 3's divide out to 1, so I'm left with just y. 2 divided by 3 stays 2/3, okay? It's a fraction. We want it to be a fraction. It's our slope. And then we keep the x. This is a negative. 9 divided by 3 is 3. What's the slope here? 2/3. What does that mean? Up 2, right 3. What's the y-intercept here? -3. Put it on the graph. Go straight down to -3. There's the first point. Use your slope directions. Up 2, right 3. Put a point. Up 2, right 3. Put a point. Connect it with a long line. Add your arrows. Last practice problem. This time, we're going backwards. We have the graph. We have to figure out which equation matches it. This is similar to what you have to do in your exit ticket, right? So, let's start with the y-intercept. Here it is. What number is that? That's a 1, a positive 1. So let's cross out any equation that doesn't have a positive 1 for the y-intercept. That's C, because it had a -1. All right? Now, I'm not going to look at what the actual slope is. I'm just going to look at, is it positive or negative? This is a negative sloping line. So I'm going to cross out any slopes that are positive. So A is gone. Okay? So now, is the slope -3 or is it -1/3? So let's see. To get from this first point to this second point, I go down 1 and I go right 3. That is a slope of -1/3. And also, if the slope is a fraction, the line will be more flat. It'll be more horizontal. And then slopes that have integers, like 3 or -3 or 4 or 5, they'll be closer to being vertical. They'll be steeper. So that's also a way for you to know that this slope is a fraction because this line is pretty flat. So the answer is choice D. You're going to do 3 more practice problems and then your exit ticket.